Right, welcome to another session with Moods with Bruce, and today we have Kitty. Kitty. Hi, Kitty. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Well, we are honored. I am particularly honored to have you on the show because it's not everyone that comes through when you try and reach out to them. But obviously, you have a purpose, isn't it? You've been called for a reason.
Yeah,
Doing
the
what you're
universe
doing.
sent you to me, so I'm here.
Awesome. Awesome. So I just want you to tell us a little bit about yourself. Who you are, what you do, where you're heading, where you're from, where you came from.
Yeah, that's a lot. I'm a lot of things, I guess. Hi, my name is Kitty. I currently am based in Los Angeles, but I grew up in Chicago. I'm half Filipino, half Polish. I've always been loving creativity ever since I was a kid. I feel like when we're children, we're born artists, right? We draw, we color, we rip paper apart, we glue things together. And for some of us, unfortunately, that creativity like loses us. Maybe it's society or someone like curves us in a different direction and we just kind of lose it. But I guess for me is something that always stayed with me. Me and my dad used to always go to Michael's or Home Depot, and it was like my favorite stores because I felt like every time I entered those stores, there was something new I could make or create or learn about. And yeah, they're just like inspiring stores to me instead of like going shopping for clothes or something like that. Like I'm more interested in that type of concepts. But yeah, that's kind of just the short run of it. Right now, I run a YouTube channel, TikTok, Instagram under Atola Visuals. I talk about filmmaking, creativity, creative process. I also have clients because I also run a video production company here, and we do content for their TikToks and their channels as well. There you
Oh,
go.
you do content for other content creators?
For businesses, like
Businesses?
brands, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
companies.
Is that corporate?
Yeah, more corporate, startup.
Okay. 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 Because I don't quite remember seeing any of your corporate stuff. I do see a lot of behind the scenes sometimes, and
Yeah.
your reviews, which are the most important ones on YouTube right now. Everyone wants to see reviews of equipment that's being released and so on, and it is admirable. It
Yeah.
is admirable.
Thank you.
What are you looking at? I mean, moving forward. I mean, you have been doing this for quite a long time.
Moving forward, I don't have a clue. To be honest, I feel like I'm just that type of person that just like worries about the future and it never happens, like the worries that
Right.
play out in my head. So right now I'm just trying to focus on going day by day and like just seeing what the next day has. And we've all learned like over the past 2 years that, the plans that you have for the future probably won't turn out the way you expect. So right now I'm just learning to adapt and take it for how it is. And I try to have goals every year, of course, and sometimes I hit them, sometimes I don't, but I think just like living more with the flow. And I'm very like emotional person, so I kind of like base my day-to-day and routines off of that, but also have like some structure with some routine and production scheduling as well, because I do have a team, so I have to like have everyone organized as well as that. So yeah, I think moving forward is just like trying to have fun mostly. I'm hoping summer gets here soon. I want to go out and like shoot some fun stuff. I just got like a camcorder, so I want to get back into this like nostalgic vibe and also shoot some more film photography. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, now let's backtrack it a little. Let's go back. What was your first initial breakthrough into YouTube? I mean, what inspired you to want to get onto YouTube?
Yeah, the first time, like where I took YouTube seriously, I feel like everyone had like their own personal channels, and I used to follow a lot of cover musicians when YouTube first started. But yeah, I was working for someone full time, and it was mostly like talking engagements, and like I would record his kids and stuff like that. But I felt like it wasn't like creatively creative, like my creative flow wasn't coming out there. Like, yeah, it was still a job and it was still video and still something like in my industry, but I wanted to do something more for me that I was having fun with. So me and my coworker actually started a YouTube channel where we were just doing gear reviews and just like making little skits and stuff like that. And back then, like, no one really had YouTube as like an official job. Like, people didn't look up to it like they do now, where I want to be a YouTuber and make that my job. This was more just for fun and like a creative outlet. So that's what it started with. We just kind of talked about the gear that we had already and just took it from there. And then as that went on, it was like years and years of just like reviewing different cameras, testing new gear. Then I got more into like wanting to do like creative concept videos. So I did a couple of those from things that I was inspired by. And yeah, that's where we are now. Now TikTok's blowing up, so now I've been posting more short form content while trying to like keep up with the long form content, because not everyone likes watching shorts too. They like watching more like 10-minute videos, so I try to cater to everyone. Also, when like 2020 hit and we didn't get to see a lot of people, I started my Twitch channel. So I would just like chill and like edit online, or like talk about scripts that I was writing and talk with my community, and it felt like, you know, we were kind of hanging out even though we were all separated during that time. So yeah, it's awesome that there's like all these different types of platforms and different ways that you could showcase yourself and your work and talk about your mindset.
You are saying, you did mention that you're working with a team. That sounds like you've been doing this for quite a long time. How long have you been doing this?
For so long. When I was little, obviously I was like painting on rocks and doing like little crafts and stuff like that, but I didn't get into photography and film until I was like 15, where I took a photo class for the first time. And at the time I didn't think like anything would happen from it, because like my photos were just like whatever. I was just doing it to get the subjects done for my homework. But then I kept coming back to it. I was like, I really like photography. I had like a camcorder, like my dad's camcorder. And then I just started shooting like vlogs before vlogs was even a term.
Wow.
And I would just like follow my mom as she was shopping. And then I remember my first part-time job was at Dominic's, which is in the Midwest. It's like a grocery store. And I would just like film my coworkers like going to the freezer room and stocking stuff, and I'd bring it to school and like homeroom and just like record little skits and things like that. But yeah, that's what it started. And I went to film school because I was so intrigued with it, and I graduated with cinematography, which is something I like still love to do today. I love playing with cameras and lenses and lighting. I love setting up different types of lights. And yeah, after college, my first job was actually working like live events. So I did like live events and music festivals for a while. I then moved to San Francisco, which was more like startup tech culture. So I was doing more like corporate videos, like live events that were like promoting conferences with like APIs and developer networking events and like stuff that I have no idea what they're talking about. So it was more like interviews, headshots, stuff like that. And then I moved to Los Angeles because I started doing YouTube, and a lot of my friends live in Los Angeles, and I was finding myself here often for like different types of events, like VidCons here, I think, like NABs in Las Vegas, and I was doing a lot of those at the time. But it's funny because we moved here like right before the pandemic started. So I was like, I'm moving to LA to like network and collab with people and like finally like get into the scene. And then everything kind of shut down. So I was mostly sitting at home in my second bedroom making TikTok videos and like those challenges that people were doing during quarantine. Just anything I could do to like make videos and take photos still, even though I couldn't do what I used to do anymore. And I still miss like shooting live events. I just love the chaos that live events have versus like shooting short films. They're very like organized. You have your production schedule, shot list, and it does get chaotic, but it's kind of like a different chaos.
It's controlled, isn't it?
It's a little bit more controlled, yeah. So I kind of like the balance, actually, between like client work, social media, my own stuff, and yeah. So I've been doing this for a long time. It sounds like a lot. And eventually I found myself like really exhausted, like not wanting to do editing anymore because that takes up a huge portion of your time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so that was like the first couple people that I hired. I hired a project manager who's been helping me a lot. And now that we're doing TikToks, we shoot like 30 videos a month. So it's like really hard to remember like which stage and which process is what and what needs thumbnails and captions. So yeah, slowly I just like hired up to whoever I needed at the time, so I could like dedicate my time to something else. And that's when you kind of know. So yeah.
Okay. It sounds like a long journey. It
It's a
sounds very
long
long.
journey,
Wow.
yes.
Wow, well done. Congratulations. I mean, in regards to stepping into the industry itself,
Hmm.
what was your first paid gig and how did you feel about it, getting that job, doing it, and delivery?
Yeah, I remember. I wanted to keep the like check or like the money that I got from it. But my first paid job was PAing for like this short film out in the middle of nowhere. So like when I first started, I would go on Craigslist every single day under like the gigs tab and just like email everyone, like 10 people a day, just so I could like get anything. But that first job, I was like PAing. I would just pretty much do anything they asked for. Yeah, I made like $100 from that day, and I felt like amazing. I was like, oh my God, this is my first check. It
Wow,
was like
that's
one of the
amazing.
best feelings. You know, you can't really take away your first experience
Yeah,
of
yeah.
something. And yeah, that really like lives with me now. And it's like so cute to think about because I haven't thought about that in a while. So thanks for bringing that up.
There you go. What would you advise, listeners, people who are just getting their feet wet, trying to get their head around the whole industry of creativity and stuff? What would you advise in regards to trying to get work and get paid for your work?
Yes, there's a lot you can do. As you can see from my story, I tried everything. I started with film photography. I did camcorder vlogs with my friends, and I went to like traditional film school, which is mostly like narrative work. So they pretty much train you up to like go to LA and shoot movies, which is different from like live event work. So I think you should try like everything. Like I know you say photography or videography, you just think of maybe one thing if you don't really know all the intricacies of it, but there's so many different genres under those umbrellas. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would say definitely try everything that you can, and you'll soon notice like what you like and what's calling your name. And then once you find that, you could build up your portfolio. And then like I did, I wrote on Craigslist to all the different jobs I can get, build up my portfolio, tried different sites like Mandy.com, Production Hub. There's a bunch of different sites now, which is really cool. And you can also now use Instagram and just DM people that you want to like work with and collab with. Or like if you want to work with a certain brand, like reach out to them and show them like similar types of work that is more like on brand with what they do too. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. That's a nice one. What is your favorite part of a process in delivering? One, I know that you do many things. You do photography, you do video. I'm pretty sure you direct as well. So, which part of these creative sessions or portion do you actually like the most, enjoy doing?
Well, you know, I don't
And I'm
like
sure it's
editing
not
the
editing.
most. That's the first thing I hired out. Let's be honest. No hate to people who edit. Like, you guys, that is like a whole nother beast that I could never
Yeah,
like get
yeah.
into. Um, but personally, I think like any part of the process that just gets me into like flow state, which
Okay.
typically happens when I'm on set, playing with lights, coming up with ideas or scripts. That's usually where I like thrive, is like pre-production and the production process. But there can be days where I'm like doing something random, like buying props, like little things that are still part of the process but aren't like over the whole like glamorous part of it. But yeah, I think that's definitely shooting like behind the camera. As much as I am in front of the camera, I actually like being behind the camera the most. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Okay. There's a question that I get a lot, and I'll throw
Huh.
that at you as well. See what your response will be.
Okay.
How do you sponsor yourself in regards to equipment for reviews? What do you do to gain those tools?
Oh, how I get the camera gear
Yeah.
for like reviews and stuff? Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, when I first started YouTube, we were reviewing like our own gear. And eventually, after like so many videos of that, people start to reach out to you. They find your email and they're like, hey, can you do a review for this, review for that? Eventually, I started doing more of those. And then I would go to events like NAB and actually network with people that were like in charge of brands and companies, and held that position of, oh, you can contact this person if you want to like test gear. And then once I started testing gear, I started to know like which gear specifically my audience wanted to see, and also gear that I wanted to play with. So then we would write directly like, hey, this is my idea, here's my channel, here's all the videos that I've already produced, so you can see like how I talk about it and my style and stuff like that. And then they can agree to send it to you, and then eventually you could like ask for money to do it too, and you build these relationships with certain brands, and they could constantly like come to you with gear.
Okay, so
but yeah, it takes like years, honestly. You need to have like years and like hundreds of videos of that type of stuff if that's what you want to get into.
And it has to be good videos, obviously.
Yeah, it has to be good videos. Of course. Awesome.
A little bit about your personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Are you the only child? Do you have more siblings?
I have 2 sisters, actually.
Oh, wow, okay.
One lives in Denver and one's back in Chicago, where all my family is.
Right, okay. That's fine. Any children? Married?
No.
Boyfriend?
I have a dog.
Serious
She's enough.
Dog.
I'm like, she's enough. I see like everyone who has kids, and I'm like, that is not the lifestyle for me. I like sleeping until 11 in the morning. Like, I can't have kids. There's no way. I can barely take care of myself. So yeah, dogs are all I need. I'm good.
Okay, but you do have family around every now and then to keep you going, because it's you've mentioned that they're in different states, isn't it?
Yeah, they're all in Chicago, one's in Denver, and then a lot of my family's in the Philippines too. So I actually don't have any family like in California, if that makes sense.
When was the last time you saw them? Not on Zoom. I mean,
not on Zoom. My mom's trying to visit, actually. We're trying to plan when she's going to visit, because then she's going to go to the Philippines after, because they just got rid of their lockdowns. But my cousin comes to visit me quite often. I've been seeing her like every month or so, because me and her like to go to BTS concerts. Right, okay. So I'm actually going to see her in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to meet her up in Vegas. But yeah, we're really close, me and her.
Oh, okay. That's nice. What happens when you go to the Philippines, or when was the last time you went to the Philippines, and what happens? Do the people there recognize you as a YouTuber? And if they do, how is their reaction when they see you? Because that's back home.
I haven't. The sad part is like I miss it every day, but I haven't been back to the Philippines since my grandma died, which was like 8 years ago. It was a really long time, so I didn't have YouTube or TikTok back then, to be honest. But it's funny because we actually took a trip to Manila for this show called Showtime, and I actually was on this show to like play one of their like mini games, because they have variety games. And then the next day we were walking around the mall, and people like recognized me from this show, and I felt like so weird. I was like, oh my God, they're staring at me. Stop.
Put the glasses on, put the hat down.
Yeah, it was so funny. But yeah, I don't know about now. I talked to one of my cousins who lives in the Philippines currently, and he works at a photo studio. And he said that one of his coworkers or one of his friends is actually like one of my followers, and he couldn't believe that we were cousins. And I was like, have you sent him like our old photos together? And he's like, no. And he's like, can you like write down his name on a note and like take a picture with your face? Like, he would love it. I'm like, I have to do that. But yeah, just little things like that's funny. I get like really like shy and weirded out with stuff like that. But
say it again.
I get really weirded out and like shy over stuff like that, because I just feel like I'm a normal person,
Well, no one that is doing well on social media is normal anymore, isn't it?
Yeah, we're all different, crazy in our own ways, I guess.
Okay, just a little bit more about production.
Yeah.
What is the favorite production you've ever attended, or actually produced yourself? Sorry.
Ooh. Well, Ultra just happened this weekend, so I was watching like live streaming. It's a music festival in Miami. And it's funny because one of my old coworkers, his name's Brock, he used to like be on our team. He sent me like, those Facebook memories that was like, oh, on this day you did this. And he's like, oh, this was the first gig that I VJ'd on. And VJs are the ones that put the visuals together on the LED screens. Like, there's like lighting directors or sound people, and then there's like the VJs that put the visuals together. And I was like, oh my God, I was just like remembering that job and how it was like a big turning point for me. And yeah, I feel like I still think that job is still one of my favorites.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so we shot like a bunch of time lapses of the stages. My friends from Chicago came there, so we were like dancing to like Snoop Dogg and Major Lazer. And then I was like still young, so like I felt like it was really cool to get paid to party too. And I got to like chill in front of house. It was like a 2-weekend thing, so I was in Florida for like a whole week and a half. And yeah, it was a good time. Still something I remember today.
Awesome. What has been your biggest paid job? You don't have to mention the figures, but I mean, what project was it?
The biggest paid job, I would say it would have to be my Nikon campaigns. Yeah, so I'll like promote some of their cameras and they'll give me a budget and I could pretty much think of any creative concept I want, which is really cool. So one of the times I had Brittany, who's another filmmaker, and she's really good at skating. So we rented out this roller rink during the pandemic, and we had the whole roller rink to ourselves, and they haven't updated it since like the 1960s, so you can't even plug film lights in it. You have to bring your own batteries or else like I don't know, the electricity will explode. But it was just like so cool to like have the whole space to ourselves, and it was very like retro themed, and just watching her skate around and like have a gimbal and like try to chase her around the rink was like really fun project to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you do collaboration with other content creators, and who has been your inspiration in the industry?
I haven't done collab in a long time, like since the pandemic happened. I've mostly been like staying kind of like a hermit to myself. I remember doing like a couple like remote collabs, like kind of like what we're doing now, or just like set up a camera and answer their questions and send my A-roll, then they'll like cut it up with their video. Right. But I honestly don't even remember the last time I did like an in-person collab other than that Nikon video I mentioned. Yeah, it's been like really long.
Is it because you don't like doing it, or you haven't had the chance to, or the opportunity to?
Honestly, I'm just scared.
I
like don't really, so I don't really want to be around people right now, and it's been like that for like 2 years, and I'm like, I don't know when I'm ever gonna get over it. Like for the most part, I can be around like one person or something like that, but it has to also be outside. So I have like a lot of like rules in my head that have to happen before I can like collab and see people, which kind of sucks and it's frustrating. And something I'm like trying to get better at every day, but I'm just like dreaming of the day where I could like collab with my friends again.
Free.
Yeah, break free from just like this worry and this stress and all the anxieties of like what's going on right now, and just like hoping and waiting for things to get better. But yeah, I do really miss collabs. Those are a really fun part of YouTube. So if you're starting YouTube, definitely do the collabs. You'll meet all types of amazing, talented people, and you'll have friends for years. Like all the friends I used to collab with when I first started, I still talk to them today. And it's so cool seeing them like grow and do their own thing. And yeah, it's really awesome.
That's good. And obviously you motivate each other and encourage each other to keep going.
Yeah, they motivate me. Also, my followers motivate me. I'm inspired by like so many different types of people and different things. Sometimes they'll be like musicians. Sometimes they'll be like philosophers, or like business leaders too, street artists. I'm like inspired by a bunch of different people, mostly people that are like very in tune with what they want to do and chase after their dreams, but like also know the balance between like work and personal life and can juggle those two. Yeah, I just love a good like underdog story. I feel like those are the types of people I'm inspired by the most.
Okay. You have mentioned music a few times. Do you have any music in your background?
Amazing. I love music.
Okay. Do you sing? Do you play any instruments? Anyone in the family? Because you seem to love music. You talk about it. You mentioned it a lot.
Yeah, I think music is just one of like the greatest things humans have ever invented. I mean, music has gone back centuries, decades. I feel like it's just like a big part of everyone's life because there's so many different genres, and I feel like you could definitely get to know about someone based on like what music they're into. And like there's different types of music for like different moods too. Like maybe you just want to
Yeah.
chill out, there's that type of genre. You want to get hypey, there's that type of genre. And I don't know. Yeah, no one in my family actually plays music. My family's more like in the medical field.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you're the quote unquote the outcast.
I'm the oddball in the family, which like the only artist in the family, because everyone, they're nurses, accountants, and finance,
Okay.
customer service. Like it's very weird. And then there's like
Wow.
me.
Modern.
Yeah.
No, that's
So
nice.
even my friends too, like my best friend's like a lawyer. Like it's just like kind of like typical jobs. Yeah.
Well, you have all these people at your disposal when you need a court case, and you need
Yeah.
a lawyer, or you're sick and you need a doctor, a nurse.
That's true. I do
so
ask them all the
good.
questions that I don't know answers to, so they are useful for sure. Yeah.
That is good. I won't take much of your time. We're just gonna round up.
Okay.
But just tell us a little bit more about your Instagram, your YouTube account. Where can we find you, and then also final words to our hearers.
Yeah, you could find me everywhere at Atola Visuals, ATOLA Visuals, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I post a lot about cameras. I've been doing a lot of unboxings lately because it feels like Christmas every time I open something new. I've been trying to post more on like creative process and just tell myself like the process is the art, because throughout the years I've been focusing so much on the deliverable, and that's what everyone wants, is like, when's the deliverable happening? This is what the deliverable looks like. And we've also focused a lot on gear and cameras and tools, but there's like not really that many videos kind of describing like the behind the scenes, the mindset, like why did you want to shoot this?
Yeah.
And I think like moving forward, I definitely want to do that more.
Awesome. What do you have to say to our hearers? Again, back to those who are in there, those who are getting in there, any encouragement for them?
Encouragement. Yeah.
Because we all need it.
For sure. Yeah. I feel like every day we need it. Even yesterday, I was like kind of having a rough day, and one of my followers DM'd me, and he didn't even know it was wrong, and was like, yeah, even if you have a bad day or a bad week or a bad month, like tomorrow is going to be a new day. And he was saying like how I inspire him and how I could inspire so many people, and just thinking about that made me feel better. So I guess for like the new creators or artists that are trying to get into it, like just think about the people that you inspire, and in return they also inspire you back, and it's kind of this like cycle that'll keep you sustained and having you create in the long run, because it really is hard. Like there's so many days where I like cry about it or want to quit, and there's like times where you burn yourself out because you have so many deadlines and you're working like 12 hours a day sometimes, and it does get hard, and you just kind of got to remember like why you want to do it. I think is very important, and it's something I'm still trying to figure out as well. And at the end of the day, none of us know what we're doing. So don't be too discouraged.
We're just working as it goes, isn't it?
Yeah. We're just trying to figure out everything. Algorithms change all the time. There's new platforms like every few years. So you just got to adapt. I feel like adapting is really important. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Kitty, for coming.
Hopefully it's
on the
helpful.
show. Yes, definitely. I mean, the audience obviously has heard one or two things, from your experience, your process, and your journey. And I believe that it will inspire someone to kickstart or to revive their channel or, their creative ability. So thank you very much for coming on the show.
Okay.